Hello and welcome to the news on NTA International. We're streaming live on Vision TV 247 and other social media platforms displayed on your screen. I'm Comfort Amodu. Let's bring you the headlines. President Bola Tinubu orders security chiefs to upscale security architecture to stem the tide of insecurity in Nigeria. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken commences Middle East tour, meets Turkish President and Foreign Minister in Istanbul. And Democratic Republic of Congo's Election Authority annuls recent election results for 3 ministers and 4 provincial governors, alleging fraud. Good to have you join us. President Bola Tinubu has asked the nation's security chiefs to ensure that there's conclusive victory against the myriad of security threats assailing the country. Addressing security chiefs and heads of intelligence agencies at a presidential security briefing at the State House, President Tinubu said while good progress is being made with the elimination of some security theaters or threats across multiple theaters, success will ultimately be defined by a final conclusion to the multiple dimensional menace. In a statement by the Presidential Advisor on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ingilali, the President pointed out that the country has much investment to make in soft and physical infrastructure, in social security, in MSMEs empowerment and other growth enablers. He added that his government is pursuing a $1 trillion economy in the next few years and that the efforts will be undermined without finally wrapping up the country's progressive onslaught against enemies of progress. And he encouraged the security chiefs, saying the confidence of Nigerians in their capacity is rising as well, and they are appreciative of the sacrifices of the servicemen and women. And the President emphasized that the armed forces must deliver on his objective to ensure the nation achieves a sustainable production of 2 million barrels of crude oil per day, including condensate, within the first quarter of 2024. Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan and Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan received U.S. Secretary General of State Antony Blinken in a closed-door meeting at the beginning of his Middle East tour. Uche Ogochukwu has details of their meeting.
In the web of a Middle East region in crisis and several pressing bilateral issues, Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan and Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan met with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken with issues including Israel's war on besieged Gaza, final steps to complete Turkey's ratification of Sweden's NATO bid, and U.S. Congress approval for the sale of F-16 fighter jets to Turkey. The meeting on Saturday at Istanbul had in attendance head of Turkish National Intelligence Organization Ibrahim Kalim and U.S. Ambassador to Ankara Jeffrey Flick. Details of the closed-door meeting was not made public. Earlier in the day, Blinken and Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan had met one-on-one. According to the U.S. State Department, Blinken will, during his regional tour, stress protecting civilian lives, releasing hostages, delivering humanitarian aid to Gaza, restoring essential services, and preventing the forced displacement of Palestinians from Gaza. He will also address urgent steps to reduce violence and ease tensions, including deterring Houthi attacks in Yemen and avoid escalation in Lebanon. Blinken will reaffirm the U.S. commitment to work with partners for Middle East peace, emphasizing progress towards a Palestinian state alongside Israel. Antony Blinken's visit comes amid a rising human catastrophe in Gaza due to both Israeli attacks and its blockade on the besieged enclave. Uche Ogochukwu, NTA News.
Also, Uche Ogochukwu reports that thousands gathered in Spain's capital, Madrid, for the traditional procession of the Three Kings as part of Epiphany festivities. And Bulgarians jump into icy river to retrieve cross to mark Epiphany.
In Spain, Christmas gifts are traditionally given on January 6, the day of Epiphany, when Christians recall the visit of the three kings to the baby Jesus, with colorful parades held across the country the nights preceding it. Children are told the gifts have been brought by the three kings, Melchior, Caspar, and Balthazar, who is traditionally depicted as Middle Eastern or Black in Christian lore. Similarly, in Bulgaria, hundreds of men jumped into the icy Tonza River for a swim to mark the Epiphany. A cross is thrown into the river in the central Bulgarian town of Kalofa to mark the event, which in the Eastern Orthodox Church is celebrated as the baptism of Christ, and the first person to retrieve the cross is supposedly blessed with good health. The celebration of Epiphany, or the apparition of Christ, as Bulgarians call it, began in the capital, Sofia, with a water blessing ceremony. Senior Orthodox clergy offered prayers for the prosperity of the people and blessed the colors of representative army units, a tradition abandoned in 1946 and re-established in 1992. Epiphany marks the end of the 12 days of Christmas, but not all Orthodox Christian churches celebrate it on the same day. While the Orthodox Christian churches in Greece, Bulgaria, and Romania celebrate the feast on January 6, Orthodox churches in Russia, Ukraine, and Serbia follow the Julian calendar, according to which Epiphany is celebrated on January 19, as their Christmas falls on January 7. NTA News.
Elsewhere, Nigeria's former energy minister who served in the government of ousted President Mohamed Bazoum has been arrested upon his return to the cool heat country. Ibrahim Yakubu had been in Niger since the Presidential Guard overthrew Bazoum on July 26 last year, and a report says Ibrahim Yakubu was arrested and imprisoned in Niamey's civil prison upon his return after several months' absence. The source said that the former minister was arrested at Niamey airport as soon as he got off a plane which had come from a country in the Maghreb. What he's been accused of is not yet known, but Yakubu was one of some 20 figures from the ousted government against whom the country's new military leaders had issued wanted notices in September. Several former officials have been arrested, while others are in exile. The Democratic Republic of Congo's election authority has annulled recent election results for 3 ministers and 4 provincial governors, citing fraud. And Bangladesh police arrested 7 opposition party members for alleged arson on a packed commuter train. Uche Gochukwu reports.
The Democratic Republic of Congo's election authority has annulled recent election results for 3 ministers and 4 provincial governors, citing fraud and voter intimidation, vandalism, and illegal possession of voting machines. The Electoral Commission says it had cancelled all ballots cast for 82 candidates in the Central African nation. 3 sitting ministers are on the list, as well as 4 provincial governors, including the governor of the capital province, Kinshasa. The announcement is coming after an election last month that was marred by bureaucratic chaos and which the Congolese political opposition rejected. On December 20, mineral-rich DR Congo held simultaneous votes to choose the president, lawmakers for national and provincial assemblies, and local councillors. Disarray and massive delays pushed the Electoral Commission to extend the vote by 1 day. Some observers noted that voting continued in some remote areas until December 27. Elsewhere, Bangladesh police arrested 7 opposition party members blamed for alleged pre-election arson on a packed commuter train that killed 4 people and injured 8 others. The blaze engulfed the intercity Benapole Express in central Dakar, with hundreds scrambling to pull passengers from burning carriages. Ahead of Sunday's national election, it was the latest in a series of fires to hit railway services since late last year, which the police blamed on deadly acts of sabotage by the opposition Bangladesh National Party (BNP). Police said Nabula Nabi, a senior BNP official in Dakar, and 6 other party activists were arrested in the capital early Saturday, alleging Nabi funded and masterminded the attack. Uche Uguchukwu, NTA News.
The year 2023 has commenced ticking as the world continues proffering solutions to probable climate change issues. In the light of this year, 2023 was more of solution searching to the ever-escalating environmental problems posed by climate change and intrigues by the developed world on climate action. While the Ministry of Environment garnered remarkable partnerships along the way in its quest to confront these global and ravaging challenges, COP28 proved a decisive moment, crowning many activities that define the year 2023. Charles Alpha brings us some of these key moments.
The first major activity for the Federal Ministry of Environment for the year under review began with assessment of the Nigerian carbon pricing initiative, the most effective way of reducing greenhouse gas emission and support implementation of the Nigeria's nationally determined contributions.
The carbon we are talking about is derived from all the emissions, the gases that are referred to as greenhouse gases.
With the year 2023 regarded as one of the warmest years on planet, and with temperature and heat waves rising around the world, the ministry joined civil society organizations and climate justice advocates to launch the Climate Watch to remind the world that urgent action was needed as time was gradually running out and Earth getting to a tipping point if nothing was done. The appointment and swearing in of Ministers of Environment shortly after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu took over as President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria provided more impetus in the fight against climate change. Balarabe Abbas Lawal was appointed as Minister of Environment, while Isiaq Adekunle Salako was appointed as Minister of State for Environment. With their appointments came both local and foreign partnership, indicating interest to join hands to slow down impacts of the escalating weather events. First was the United Nations Delegation on Drugs Control, Oxfam Africa, and the African Climate Forum. Others were the delegation from the governments of the Netherlands, Denmark, members of the EU, and UNESCO, all pledging support through the ministry to offer technical support to Nigeria on building climate resilience, adaptation, and mitigation.
We are trying with that cooperation across the nation, in fact, across international boundaries, because like we are cooperating with other countries, West African countries, and even other African countries. So we need to do more.
The year also saw the federal government of Nigeria and the United Nations Environment Programme, UNEP, and formal engagement with the Hydrocarbon Pollution Remediation Project under the Ministry of Environment, with the completion of the organization's 5-year technical assistance project.
So one of the biggest issues that we are confronting is trying to recover polluted lands, Goldland, Niger Delta, and other areas. So that's one area that we are putting all our efforts.
The year under review also provided opportunities for the ministry to mark major global events with countries around the world, from the marking of Ozone Layer Day to World Toilet Day and Tree Planting Day, with bamboo trees as focus. As the year gradually wind down, preparations for the 78th United Nations General Assembly took center stage with Nigeria global event, COP28 gathering momentum. This led to the setting up of a committee to champion Nigeria's attendance and active participation. Then came the D-Day, COP28 in Dubai, with Nigeria making its voice heard on burning issues and hosting over 50 side events at the Nigerian pavilion and signing of MOUs to facilitate Nigeria's net zero and renewable energy capacity efforts.
Nigeria participated, and Nigeria were able to showcase our efforts in mobilizing Africa and in mobilizing ECOWAS to ensure that we key into that ambition.
For the ministry, 2023 was quite eventful and impactful. And given the results and collaboration, it is hoped that 2024 will even avail better opportunities and innovation in the Federal Ministry of Environment's bid to tackle Nigeria's climate woes. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International, reaching you from Abuja. We have more reports ahead. Stay tuned. Thanks for staying tuned. Housing deficit and its effects on the masses and affordability problem have become a matter of great concern to Nigerians. Nigeria, with an estimated rising figure of 28 million housing deficits already, a call for worry. However, in this special report, Francis Udojo takes a look at major efforts made by the housing and urban development sector towards tackling and meeting housing needs of Nigerians.
Housing deficit and affordability are major issues in Nigeria as governments after another try to resolve. Inadequate funding and lack of accurate data to ascertain the number, category of people, and areas for adequate attention and many other loopholes have caused setback in housing delivery. However, a sigh of hope seems to have set in with the current administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu separating the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development from that of Works to enable it stand alone to deliver its mandate. To bring the initiative to fruition, the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Musa Dangiwa, set up a housing reform team of experts to look at all areas of housing delivery, abandoned federal projects by contractors since 2012, and ongoing housing partnership projects were inspected by the Minister of Housing and decisions taken to restore agreements. A meeting of federal housing agencies was also held for robust synergy. Financial institutions were equally engaged to help provide necessary funding. Meeting with UN Habitat was also a plus. While the need for accurate data generation is key, the ministry engaged the National Population Commission ahead of the national census for accurate data generation in tackling housing deficit. At the 12th National Council of Lands, Housing and Urban Development meeting in Kaduna State, decisions were also taken to review the Land Use Act of 1978 to suit current housing demands and how to harness local and international credit scheme for housing infrastructure development were made.
The meeting resolved and agreed that there are other options of getting this housing finance that we can explore. And this is the best time to do that with the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President of creating every environment for the sector to grow.
Having taken necessary measures, government has signed an MOU with 3 companies set to deliver renewed hope cities and estate of 100,000 housing units across the country over the next 4 years, beginning with the first phase of 20,000 in Abuja, while the 80,000 units will be spread across 6 geopolitical zones of the country.
This MOU signing, we're ending the year 2023 on a strong vote and settling a solid foundation for a strong start for a new year 2024.
The President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been able to put in place very friendly investment policies, remove hurdles to investments, and that's one of the reasons why we can see private sectors showing very interesting concerns.
The groundbreaking ceremony is expected to take place in January. In Abuja, Francis Udojo, NTA News.
As part of its effort to rejig the security architecture and provide effective protection of the post-primary schools across Federation, the Commandant General of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Dr. Ahmed Abubakar Audi, has approved the immediate appointment of Ahmed Abodurin as the new commander of the National Safe Schools Response Coordination Center. A statement by the National Public Relations Officer, NSCDC, National Headquarters Abuja, Babawale Zaid Afolabi, says Ahmed Abodurin takes over from the commander, Teso Shekbera, who has been redeployed and the NSCDC as a lead agency in the protection of critical national assets and infrastructure with schools inclusive hosts the federal government's National Safe Schools Response Coordination Center, which is the first of its kind in the implementation of the Safe Schools Implementation Project. It was established on 13th February 2023 to enhance security of schools and host communities, to coordinate security agencies and other critical stakeholders for effective performance. And the new commander of the National Safe School Response Coordination Center was born in Iresi. He is a trained and accomplished journalist who joined the NSCDC as a volunteer in 1994 and rose through the ranks. And notwithstanding the eventful 2024 calendar, Nigerian sports achievement in the outgone year cannot be ignored, as correspondent Chukwunonso Wabweze tells us more.
Super Eagles and Napoli striker Victor Osimhen remains central in Nigeria's sporting achievements in the outgone year. Not only did he score numerous goals in the 2022-2023 season to help Napoli to her third Scudetto title after 33 years, he was also named the 2023 Serie A Player of the Year, as well as CAF Best Male Footballer of the Year.
I want to thank everyone that has seen me through life's journey, in achieving my dreams, in achieving my goals. I appreciate Nigerians for their support. I appreciate Africa for putting me on the map, for encouraging me, for defending me, regardless of my shortcomings.
In the same vein, Asisat Oshoala's exploits with FC Barcelona and Super Falcons equally earned her a record-extending 6th consecutive CAF Best Female Footballer of the Year award.
I would love to use this opportunity to thank everyone who's been part of my journey, from grassroots football to national level to club side.
Still on football, the Super Eagles chased a 4th title at the forthcoming Africa Cup of Nations holding in Cote d'Ivoire between January 13th and February 11, 2024, while the Super Falcons are on the verge of picking their ticket to the 2024 Olympic Games in France after booking their spot in the 2024 Women's Africa Cup of Nations holding in Morocco. Athletics, World Women's 100 meters hurdles record holder Toby Amusan returned to the tracks in September to win her 3rd successive Diamond League title at Eugene, Oregon.
I'm just grateful to God. That's all I can say this season. This win is not about me. It's for my coach, my family, for everyone who supported me throughout this year. It's been a rough one, and I'm just thankful.
And in tennis, Nigeria made history in February as the nation's women's wheelchair tennis team secured qualification for the 2023 World Team Cup Wheelchair Tennis in Portugal after their victory over Morocco at the African qualification event in Abuja. Nigeria equally got promoted to Africa Group 3 in the Davis Cup competition following an impressive performance in Rwanda. Also in 2023, about 10 Nigerian tennis umpires officiated at the 2023 French Open and Wimbledon Championships, in addition to many other ATP, WTA, Davis Cup, as well as ITF World Tennis Tour sanctioned tournaments within and outside the African continent.
Chop smash from Aruna. No way!
As events unfold in the new year, Nigeria's sportsmen and women set sights on more success stories around the globe. Chukwunonso Wabweze, NTA News.
And a peep at Sunday's weather prospect for Nigeria and some cities of the world. That's the news on NTA International. I'm Comfort. I'm Wadu. Many thanks for watching.